Trippi and Maura Gillespie, founder of Blue Stack Strategies and former press advisor to John Boehner when he was House Speaker. Let's talk about, jump off with looking at, for anyone not named Donald Trump, this is an example, again, of what's old is new. Republicans being put in the position, sometimes quite uncomfortable and awkward, to explain or avoid taking questions or dodging questions, especially running through the halls of Congress on things that Donald Trump says. What is this going to look like, again, for Republicans down ballot in the incoming months?
Absolutely. Well, one, it's giving me flashbacks to 2016 and having to, wake up thinking, what did I miss while I was sleeping? And what do I need to respond to? Like if I had to react to every single thing that Donald Trump said on behalf of my member or where I was working, that would have been a full-time job to try and come up with a response to every single thing he said. And polls are showing that this doesn't really move the needle for people because we're used to it. This is what he does. So to take everything he says and make it a big story actually backfires. So, that being said, members are probably now realizing after having been through yesterday's Unity Day that it's happening again. They're going to have to go back to reacting and responding and being held accountable because Trump isn't. He doesn't take responsibility. He still hasn't taken responsibility for January 6th. So it becomes a personal threshold for members to decide, okay, what's worth it? Is it worth my job to stand with him and do this? Is it worth it for my constituents? And maybe that's how they justify it, right? And that's perfectly understandable if they want policy things they want to get by, but I think there comes a certain point where they're going to get fatigued again.
Maura, yesterday Donald Trump endorsed Larry Hogan, the former Republican governor of Maryland, who's now running for Senate in Maryland. And Hogan this is very interesting because Hogan has made clear time and again he is not supporting Donald Trump. The campaign responded to the endorsement, his campaign responded to the endorsement saying Governor Hogan has been clear he is not supporting President Trump, just as he did not in 2016 and 2020. And Democrats jumped very quickly on this. The DSCC using Trump's endorsement, just that line, Donald Trump wants Larry Hogan to be in the Senate, as a new attack line against him. Does this hurt Larry Hogan getting an endorsement?
Honestly, I don't think it does. I think it's really interesting, and it speaks to what Trump wants here. He obviously sees the polls and thinks there's a chance that he could win both the presidency, House, and the Senate again. Really, I think that's what he's looking at. And then, that gives him the power to either clear his name, whatever he thinks that Congress can do for him. I heard that it was mentioned during the meetings with both House Republicans and the Senate side of things that he needs to get done to clear his name and things of that nature. So I see that as the tactic here. But I think for Larry Hogan, Maryland's, very viable for him. And so he's got to stay on his path and not let. And he doesn't need Trump. So, to that end, keeping kind of him at the fray and outside of his orbit is probably for the best.